Hello, everyone, and I'd like to welcome you all to our logo design using Photoshop and Illustrator tutorial. So now we will be starting on with this tutorial, and the first chapter is Introduction to Logo Designing in Photoshop. Okay, so we'll look at the things which we need to know before continuing in Photoshop, like what are the things that we need to keep in mind while we try to make any logo in Photoshop. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, the topic is great creative logo design made easy with Photoshop. So I'd like to welcome you all to this tutorial, and over here in this tutorial we will be exploring different easy ways to create some eye-catching logos using Photoshop. Okay, so over here we will use some of the basic tools itself. Okay, I'll be explaining you guys each and every steps quite easily how to follow those. Make sure to follow those, and we'll be making some eye-catching logos using Photoshop. Then in the next part of this tutorial, we will move on to Illustrator as well. So get ready to unleash your creativity, and let's look what we have over here. So first thing first, before starting to design any logo, you need to understand the basics of logo designing. So what I mean by basics, okay, you need to understand that what kind of paper size do you need to take in Photoshop. You should have a basic idea about Photoshop at first, okay, about the tools, okay, how you can actually create a page, okay, or a new document, and over there how to actually rasterize layers and stuff, okay, how to work with layers. You should have a basic understanding about Photoshop at first, and also about logo designing. You should have the idea of what kind of logo are you looking for, okay, and for what company are you going to make that logo for. Is it a logo which is actually symbolizing something, or it is just some initials or some numbers? Okay, so you need to have a clear concept in mind, as a logo is quite important. Okay, so that is a very important part of a company for their marketing or for their recognition. And if the logo is not good by itself, it will not actually put out a great effect in your mind. So now in today's world, if you just think, okay, let's say if I tell you BMW, so you guys can remember what their logo is. Or if I tell you guys about Audi, Tesla, okay, or Lamborghini, you can actually remember what their logos are. Okay, most of the bigger companies, they do have their logo. Or let me say Google, or let me say Amazon. You guys can see that their logos are not complex, but very simple and very easy to remember. So you need to understand that you need to keep your logo quite simple and make it memorable and ensure that it's versatile. Okay, and your logo should not actually match the other company's logo. If it's too similar to each other, then people might tend to forget what is your specialty and what you guys do, or the recognition of your company. So it's very uh, important that you understand the basics of logo designing. And the next thing over here is, once you're trying to design a logo, whatever fonts you're using, that you're using the right color of fonts and the right fonts as well. Okay, you need to make sure that you use the right color combination and right kind of fonts. So fonts and colors, they basically play a very crucial role in logo design. So we need to learn how to select complementary fonts, and also how you can actually select harmonious color palettes to convey the right message. So before designing a color, before actually choosing up a set of colors, you need to see that those colors which you have selected for your logo, are they compatible with each other or not? Like in the same frame, do those colors look good or not? So you need to keep that things in mind. And there are different websites, so let me just tell you guys about few. Okay, so there is a website called Color Hunt, you guys can go there and you guys can check that they do already have a lot of color palette. And also there are different websites. Okay, there is a website called Gradient. From there also you guys can actually check out, there are different color palettes which you can download and make those used in your particular project in Photoshop. Okay, so you need to understand that you do use a good color combination which actually fits your theme as well, and also make sure to use some fonts which are quite simple and attractive to eyes. Okay, make sure to not use any kind of fonts which are too complicated or too funky. Okay, because it actually decreases the quality of your design. Okay, so make sure to do that. And the next thing we are going to learn about is mastering logo elements in Photoshop. So what do we mean by mastering the logo elements in Photoshop? So once we are working in Photoshop, we need to understand that what are the shapes or what are the kind of layers that you're going to work on with. Okay, so we'll discover the use of Photoshop tools to basically manipulate different kind of shapes, different kind of text, and also layers effectively. So in Photoshop, we do work with rasterized layers over here. Okay, and now we need to actually have a better idea about layering while we are trying to work in logo. Let's say if you want to manipulate a shape, if you want to do that, you guys can come here and you guys can work with that. If you want to manipulate any text, you guys can also come here and you guys can also do that over here. So first you need to understand that what you are exactly trying to do, and once you have come up with a solid plan, you need to make sure that you implement those into your work. So first you need to unleash your imagination and then bring that imagination or bring that idea to life. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually master the elements of logo in Photoshop. And the next option is adding visual impact with effects. Okay, so over here, if you do have a particular logo, you need to explore how you can actually enhance its beauty. Okay, so in that particular case, to enhance its beauty, you can actually add up a shadow, and also you need to understand at what angle you do want to put on the shadow and how much you do want to put up the shadow, what kind of shadow you are going to put. And also we will be learning about working with different gradient colors. Okay, so in many cases we need to make sure that we work with gradient colors and also other effects which will actually elevate your design and it will make it stand out from the rest. Okay, so you need to make sure that you focus on the minute details of your logo, that you don't miss out anything or you do exactly what you plan on. Okay, and keep on experimenting with lot of project at the same time. Okay, and afterwards you by yourself can actually compare that which of your logo basically looks good, and you can basically forward that to your company or to your client as well. Okay, so this was about adding visual impact with effects. And the next thing over here is showcasing your finished masterclass. Okay, so you need to learn the best practices for presenting your logo. Let's say if you do want to show your logo, how it actually looks on to your website, or how it looks on a t-shirt, let's say, or how it actually looks on top of a letterhead. Okay, so company basically they do have their logo in each and everything. Okay, so you guys can actually create a mock-up for that to branding application on how, or you will discover how to showcase your work in a professional way. Okay, so they won't be looking that particular logo in your Photoshop application, right? Your client, or where you're going to implement that particular logo, they'll be looking that logo in their official documents, or let's say into their company. Okay, so you guys can prepare those things or those kind of mock-ups and basically present those, that this is how my logo will look like on your t-shirt, or this is how my particular logo will look like on your letterhead. Okay, So you guys can just implement that and show them the mockup, which will give them a better idea of how the logo has turned out. Okay. And over here, now the next point is seeking inspiration and feedback. So to before creating some logos, you need to make sure that you do see different kind of logos from different designers. Okay. And I'm not telling you to directly copy them, but from them, you guys can take inspiration and also you guys can get some feedback. You guys can see that what are the designs that they have used and how you can actually manipulate and how you can actually make it look better. You guys can see what are the color palettes that they have used, what are the effects they have used. You guys can just take up an idea from them. So over here, you need to find out where to seek inspiration and how you can gather constructive feedback. So embrace the iterative process to refine your logo designs. And lastly, I like to tell you that let your creativity flow and continue to innovate in your design endeavors. So this was just a small introduction about logo designing in Photoshop. So from our next chapter, we will move on to Photoshop itself and we will see that how you can start creating logo in Photoshop. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.